Welcome to Expired Musings podcast. My name is Rakad.
And my name is Aman, and this is where all our thoughts go to die.
So have fun!
Please do. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey!
No, this is only for me.
Shut up. You guys don't even know
We've been fighting.
Feuding. We let 3 episodes get to our heads, and now it's a power struggle. Leave in the comments who you like better.
Imagine, leave in the comments below, who would you rather snog, marry, or kill?
That sounds like a fun university icebreaker.
Oh, not that.
Aman, is this not what your university life was like?
Nobody wanted to marry me. Nobody wanted to snog me. And for sure, nobody cared enough about me to fucking kill me.
Oh, wow, I guess blessings come in all ways.
Guys, I think it's pretty easy to tell what this episode's going to be. First of all, from our extremely obvious, non-creative title. Mind you, it was not me.
You know what? It's a great title. It's straight to the point. It gives you an idea, and there's no surprises. What do you want from a title?
Fine, then you do the segue. Go ahead, Ragad, and segue us to today's topic before I jump out the window, Ragad.
Who you kill, snog, or marry is a perfect indication of the classic icebreakers one might experience in the university culture. Shut up.
Oh, that was shite.
Yeah? You know what? Let the viewers decide that. The listeners decide that. I don't know what's going on in this episode.
Okay, this is about the university culture. We came up with this idea because, first of all, I feel like universities right now and colleges, we're talking about all post-secondary education. Kids, students, everybody's going through a really strange time in regards to education. Students, for the first time in a long time, are being robbed of the usual...
Any experience.
Yeah, they're robbed of any experience, but most specifically the student experience. And we thought it'd be an interesting time to dive into our personal university experiences and the pros and cons of our secondary education. And, you know, we're going to have some anecdotes. This is going to be a fun time.
Yeah, you can live vicariously through us.
Yeah.
So you can go to university, but you might as well just take our word on it.
Trust us. It's so much fun. Sarcastic.
I hated my life.
And you still do. So then this is time for us to probably talk about what kind of secondary education we have. So I have a university degree. I double majored in English, communication, media, and film. And that hasn't been the most fruitful of endeavors.
What do you mean? You're doing a podcast.
Yeah, that's the media portion, I guess. Communication, I just got to talk to somebody now. And film, I just got to buy a camera.
You'll be fine.
$25,000 well spent.
To do like a $30 mic podcast.
Yeah, mission accomplished, ladies and gentlemen. What about you?
I did my undergrad in human kinetics or kinesiology. I don't think they really decided which one's which because they change it every other year. And then I continued to dive myself into a bigger hole and do my master's in kinesiology, which, okay, great. Love it. But I'm in my 3.5 year and I don't know when I'm going to graduate. So it's just been a very stressful last term. I would hope it's the last term. I actually don't know at this point. I can't even promise you that.
You guys have no idea. She's been struggling with post-grad. It hasn't been kind to you, has it?
Nuh-uh. I had to switch from a thesis to an internship, and then I had to tell everybody that I was graduating in April, that I'm actually not graduating at the moment. And...
Because I graduated and I was like, I'm not even sure if I know English, you know?
To be honest, I feel like everybody that graduates university is just lying on their resume because there's no way you did all these activities and all these events. Like, you weren't...
How dare you? I have never...
Yeah?
I was like, I'm going to get a job because I have so many volunteer hours. They did not come in clutch. I got played.
Well, you're in the podcast now, so it doesn't matter.
Stop saying that like I'm getting paid because I am not. Again, this is our second reminder. If you guys have any sponsors that'd be interested, please let us know. This is not a joke. I have bills to pay.
I want to graduate.
So SOS. Anyway, let's dig a little bit deeper.
Dig.
Having a university routine, I think, is vital for every student. If you have 1 part-time job or 2 part-time jobs or whatever, they have to be part of your routine and you have to work around them. Personally, my routine for all 4 years was mostly go to school, I would go to
Mhm.
school for classes
Mhm.
and go straight home. I never went to the library unless I wanted to like get a book or do some printing.
Mm.
I would do everything at home. And that also stripped away any time that I would have potentially had for socializing. So I actually didn't have friends in university. I just had my friends from school, from
Mhm.
like grade school and high school that I used to hang out with on the weekend or whatever. But
Mhm.
during university hours, I didn't have friends until like fourth year. And then I lost them very quickly. We're going to get into also how fragile like university friendships are. But yeah, so for me, it was very much go, study, go home. What about you, Rad?
So my university life actually differed a lot from yours. I would start my mornings bright and early, 8 a.m., and I would last there till like 6 or 8 p.m. some days, depending if I took a night class. And I would spend it all day in the library. However, to get to the library, I would mainly be situated in a far off campus, and I'd have to walk a good 15, 20 minutes sometimes to get to that said library to meet all my friends. So everyone's hanging out, and I'm there drenched in sweat, heavy panting, because I wanted to hang out with people. And it's not that I didn't get along with my program. I actually met some like wonderful people through it. But in the beginning, I didn't know anybody. I was like a first year, and all my friends, they went to the typical stuff you would go to. So either like psych or bio or psych or bio. You know what I mean? So
I didn't know that those were the two options.
you would think so by the way people were picking them. So no shade, no tea, but I'm just saying this was a trend. And I didn't really know anybody in my university class. So I would make the trek all the way to the library to see people I actually knew. And I don't know if it was worth it or not because I don't really talk to half those people anymore. So you tell me if my energy expenditure was worth it.
Clearly not. It looked like I looked like those were some bad seeds and you did some bad investments, Rad.
I mean, here's the thing. I just observed. If drama happened to go around me, what am I supposed to say? No.
Hopefully you're not instigating.
I'm just there. I like to observe. I love drama, but not when I'm in it.
Okay.
Is that problematic?
It does sound like,
First of all, anybody that disagrees, I think is a liar.
Oh, not me getting attacked.
I'm just saying, I feel like everybody, it's human nature to crave or to at least have some sort of curiosity for trouble. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, I agree. There was definitely some fun to it. I feel like I'm almost upset because I never got to experience that because I didn't have any friends. And because I was going home to nap.
I think
wish that I would have experienced some drama. I would hear about it months after.
I think you experienced enough being in the clubs that you joined.
Let me talk about that in a minute. Okay.
All this to say, it's different than maybe other people's university lives, if you want to touch on that.
So that's what I want to get into actually. Like, so university or college or whatever post-secondary education you received around the world is completely and utterly different in ways that we can't even begin to cover. But something that I really wanted to something that I wanted to note is the fact that I grew up in Jordan and I would go home every summer until like maybe fourth year university. And I would go with my cousins or my friends. I would go to the university with them. And I remember being like, wow, their university experience is so different. Why? It's hard to explain it. I would call it, in quotes, the university experience in its truest form, where they had groups and they were like doing activities together, hanging out together, having lunch on like some staircase. I don't know why I think I romanticized it mostly because it was back home and I got to see faces that were like exactly like mine. And that was really exciting.
Yeah.
This like, I can't explain it other way than like, it felt like a Korean drama. For example, so like my cousin or something would have like a friend who is dating this guy. Obviously, everything is low key. Nobody shares anything.
Oh.
Yeah, because hashtag haram.
I am.
Which are words that basically in Arabic mean like shameful or like inappropriate, which is we're being facetious. Please date. Please love.
Don't be like us now struggling.
I have rugrats.
Ragrat.
I have ragrats.
Continue your story.
So anyway, dude, I would go with her to university, go in the morning or whatever. And all these girls had these fun little secret relationships. And then she would get a text being like, meet me on the south wing.
Scandalous.
Yeah, of the art campus. And then she would go there. She would see him and they would like maybe go to a corner and talk and he would get her like a rose or something, or he'd buy her a coffee. And I wanted to be these women so bad. I just wanted to live the life that they had. It was so much fun. It was all drama. Everybody was friends. friends. Another thing that's you see a lot, actually. I think Arabs are just really friendly, I think. And everybody's friends. There's no such thing as like cliques. People are just friends.
Oh, that's nice.
So they would walk down the street and say hello to everybody. And I thought that was so cool. There was like no individualism. It was so, people were so integrated within each other. It was like a big family. It was so wonderful.
Wait, I have a question. How big were the schools?
So obviously the bigger ones, for my listeners in Jordan, we're talking about like the Urduniya, which is the Jordanian university. That is an enormous university. Nobody knows each other. But let's say you're a graphic design student. So then you go to the graphic design building and everybody knew each other in that building and people were friends and they were like family. They would bond so much. And I couldn't grasp that feeling of this familiarity. I can't say it, that these people have. It was like so familial. It was such a familial bond. It was very unique.
Wow, I've never heard the word familial and familiar in so many ways.
Yeah, familial is a word. But my dictionary is vast.
Wow, Miss Thesaurus, go off.
So that was amazing. So I remember like going to Jordan and like I would literally wake up in my summer vacation at like 7 a.m. to go to university with my cousin just to be able to experience it. So I would have that. And then I remember when I lived in Korea. So I lived in Korea, for those who don't know, for 2 years. This is when it finally clicked. I was talking to one of my coworkers and I asked her about her university experience. And she was like, oh yeah, I loved it. It was super easy, super great. And I was like, easy? And she's like, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. So in Korea, they had the university thing was similar to Jordan. That's so interesting. And then I put 2 and 2 together. In these countries, high school is the hard bit. Grade 12 exams make or break your future in both Jordan and Korea. So then basically students go through hell the last 2 years of high school, grade 11 and 12. And then in university, it's smooth sailing because they got through the hard part. So that's why students actually really struggle in high school in these countries, but then they go to university and they get to have all this fun.
And they probably already got into the program that they wanted.
Yes, and they probably already have the marks and the qualifications because that's how they got into said program in the first place.
Right, so they don't have any extra stress.
Exactly. They're excited, they're looking forward to it. And even if it's hard and they still struggle with it, of course, university isn't easy anywhere, but it doesn't have the same kind of like
unwavering uncertainty.
Yes, in Canada, it felt like this is something that I have to be successful in, otherwise I'm nothing.
Oh my God, I remember I would spend my summers, so sorry to cut you off, but
it's okay.
This is something that like throughout every single summer of university, whether I was on vacation, whether I was enjoying family time, my mind was constantly trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life after.
Yes.
I remember like literally being overseas visiting my grandma, and instead of, enjoying the moment, I was stressed out about what I was going to apply to, what professional school options do I have, what my grades were like. I had no moments of peace.
Yeah, I agree. It was actually awful. I never felt comfortable enough in my own abilities or strengths in university to feel like I belonged,
It's not your fault because the way that the system is built, even like 50 years ago, it was different than it is now. 50 years ago, finishing an undergrad would get you like a top tier job because there wasn't that many people going into university in the first place. And now, because of how we push university on kids,
you're 17 when you make a decision,
and how accessible it is, which is great in a sense where it's like everybody deserves an education, and there's OSAP and there's funding and grants and stuff that'll get you there. But it's become so oversaturated. So now people who have finished university with their undergrads, they're in the same pool with 100,000 other people.
Yes.
And the only way to distinguish yourself is to get a master's. But then what people started noticing is I need a master's to get anywhere in life. So now everyone's gone to get a master's. And now the people who have masters, they're like, well, I have to distinguish myself. Yeah. So it's just a never ending climb throughout education. It's like, when am I going to work? Funny part is when you get to a certain level of top education, some jobs don't even want you because then you're too qualified. So it's, what do you want?
Being overqualified. Yeah, it really is, like you said, like it's a paradox. It seems like the more that people are accessing higher education, the less worth it has, which is heartbreaking. And because regardless of what we say in this episode, personally, higher education, I hold it in a high regard because obviously it's an art form in itself. It's a feat to accomplish. And no student should ever feel like, well, I'm just another brick in the wall, to quote Pink Floyd here. But that's what students are feeling like. Yeah. They're like, whatever, I'm just going to graduate. I'm in the system and like hope to God that I get a job, and which is not even guaranteed anymore. So then what I had to do, which is what many students have to do, you have to get a job to put yourself through school, to try to like lessen the blow of student loans if your parents couldn't afford to pay for them or you couldn't afford to pay for them. And then you have to start taking all this like extra volunteer work or extra gigs in hopes of building up a resume. Because obviously, if you graduate with just your degree, it's not good enough. Now,
Nuh-uh.
you have to graduate with basically a full resume that has various accomplishments while you're doing like full-time schooling and work.
And work.
Which is what I was getting to. In Canada, high school was a joke, and then university all of a sudden was hell. I'm not like dismissing high school. Like, of course, high school had its moments of not being the easiest thing in the world. Sure, like I think about it right now, and I feel like I'm still upset because I never got to actually be myself or enjoy my university career, because the whole time, like you said, Ragad, I'm just thinking, am I gonna make it? Is this gonna be fruitful? Does any of this actually matter?
Am I gonna pay off?
Am I gonna pay off my goddamn debt?
Yeah. And I think that's where the issue lies, right? It's you don't get to actually enjoy university because you're constantly worried about the money that you're taking to get this degree, and then you have to worry about the job and all that after to pay off this degree. Whereas in other countries like Germany, Sweden, Finland, all of that, where university, I mean, I hope my facts are correct, but under my impression, university is free for their citizens. And I'm sure it must alleviate a lot of the stress. That way they can actually focus on what they're passionate about. And then they can graduate and like just, I'll find a job. When I find a job, I'm not going to die over this because I don't have a crippling debt over my shoulder.
They get to finish university and at their leisure, enjoy things. Like, for example, what they can do, Ragad, is finish university and then go get an internship or like get volunteering gigs to build up, sort of pinpoint what they want to do. They have that privilege, right? They have that time while we're incredibly privileged, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
This is not us being like, oh,
absolutely.
Well, I just hate it here. We recognize we're privileged, but we also have to acknowledge the fact that our student debt robs us from the time that we can have after graduating for just exploring what we need to pursue. You graduate, you got to get a damn job in 6 months. 6 months, our student debt collectors start hitting you up.
They're so rude.
Yeah, they give you no time. They're like, oh, didn't you graduate, you little asshole? Where's your money?
Why don't you have a job?
Pay me that money.
It's time to pay.
Where's my money? Oh, stop holding a gun to my head. Where's my money?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Take my degree. It's so horrible. I hate it here.
I do hate it here also. And by here, I mean the world, the universe.
The world.
So then part of what people say, right? They're like, okay, part of the university experience is the extracurricular activities and all the clubs you can join. Okay, so let's get into that.
We're both looking at each other right now because we know exactly the clubs that we joined, and we know the toxicity in every single club that we joined. I'm not going to name any names, but some of the clubs I joined have left me traumatized to this very day.
Yep.
I feel like, one of those like people.
Yeah, like you're like in a dark screen where they put a voice changer on your voice.
Yeah, I should be in the witness protection program. First of all, I'm lucky that I even joined an activity because I was working part-time while going to school, and it left me almost no other time to socialize outside of school. So I joined this group, and it seemed lovely at first, but then why must Arabs ruin everything? Can I specify the race?
I think you're allowed.
I just feel like I tried to join a good cause, and it just splattered into my face.
Yeah, it really backfired.
I don't know how much detail I can go in about this.
Yeah, so we did join a few clubs. We did a few extracurriculars. I did a lot of things that I actually loved and really enjoyed, and other things that I thought I would love and enjoy, and I did not.
Yep, but it makes for interesting stories now.
Yes, and I will say the one thing that I loved being a student in Canada, this is one thing that I would forever cherish. Freedom of speech.
Yep.
You get to shit on the university president, the system, the whatever political situations going on. The complete and utter freedom that we had to express ourselves was wonderful. Whether people took it in well or not doesn't matter. What it means, what I'm trying to say is that student activists around the world are probably one of the most prosecuted groups when it comes to activism. They are literally killed. I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but this is something that I'm very passionate about. In Korea, there was, damn it, I can't remember the year. It was this movement that started in Korea by students, and they were peacefully protesting in the streets, and they were basically massacred by their own government. Wow. The government said that they killed 300. Actual numbers say it was above 3,000.
Wow.
We're talking kids, students, massacred for just going out and demonstrating against corruption and fighting for democracy. And this happens everywhere. You see it happen every time we see there's an uprising somewhere. Students are leading these activist groups, and you see them being punished brutally by a system that wishes for their downfall. This is how this university system is. You think it's striving for you, it's not.
Nope.
It's a horrible realization is when you realize you're just a paycheck, because universities are businesses. And it breaks my heart because I see students that are so passionate, so clever, being lost amidst this corruption. You know what I mean, Ragad?
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that I got to be an activist, like a student activist, and I got to shit on a bunch of people that I fucking hated.
Yeah.
And I wish that my homies in Jordan can go ham like this. And I know they can't.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend like I'm aware of the laws, but I do know that you simply can't just go out and shit on anybody that you want to. This is something that we had Ragad here that we should really be happy about. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. I think we definitely have a privilege where our safety isn't in jeopardy.
Yes, exactly.
Like a million times I'm on board with. The thing is, for maybe our university leader or university policymakers or board members, the issue that I have with them is that while they're not outright taking our freedom of speech, they kind of are in other ways.
Oh, yeah.
So they have policies where they will either block your voice under the term that you're causing disruption. They will just flat out ignore you. And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm paying tuition. I think I have a right to speak my voice and for you to actually thoroughly listen and not just dismiss me.
And take action. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
How many stories have you read this year alone about, well, not this year because of COVID, but think about the previous 2 years. The amount of stories that you read about campus sexual assault being brushed under the rug, campus racism being ignored and stifled, and people are silenced. They literally, universities pay money to lawyers to make sure that these students are not being heard. So when I see my student activists that I follow going online and going off, I'm like, good for you. Drag them to filth.
Yeah.
They're all about, oh, you're a student, and of course there's activism on campus, and of course you can have blah, 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 blah. It's all rhetoric.
As long as it's the type of activism that works in their favor, that's okay.
Yes. They will allow it to an extent, and then they'll start shutting you down. So, sorry about that dark note, you guys, but truly this is something very important, right, Ragad?
Yes, it's so important, and it's so exhausting to have gone through it, because I remember seeing it live. There was a point when a certain activist group tried to pass a certain law that it's more of a humanitarian cause, and the university literally, they got lawyers and...
Yeah, they blocked it, the fact that it won majority by students.
Yeah.
Okay, so then obviously talking about all this stress that we're feeling, I mean, we have to discuss the all-nighters. Nothing like an all-nighter to do an essay that you did 2 pages out of, and there's 8 pages and it's due at 8 a.m. And you started at 1 a.m.
Yep, I remember. Oh my God. First of all, I've always been a night owl. I've never been productive during the day. So I used to be so much better at it than I am now. But regardless, I would start my work at 10 p.m. and I would type away to like 2, 3 a.m. and then I would set alarms in like 5-minute increments. So I would wake up like at 2:10. 2:15.
No.
2:22. 2:27, and it started to become more irregular. And then I wouldn't even do work, but the stress, I felt like I wasn't allowed to sleep because I had work. So I would wake up in this false pretense that I was going to do work just to say that, like, you know what, I took action. And then I wouldn't sleep that night and I'd have no work done. So it was self-destructive. Yeah, I was a terrible, you know what? I made it on honor roll, and that's all that I'm taking credit for.
The minute that I was like, I don't care, I graduated with honors, everybody can kiss my ass.
Whatever unhealthy strategies I must have partaken in, I don't care. It got me where I needed to be got. It got me to where I needed to be.
We're fine. Look at us. We're perfectly healthy individuals.
Yeah, we're not on edge.
Nobody's on edge. Nobody's unhinged here. I mean, no, the mental stress, dude, it was crazy. I think that many students, and I'm including myself in this statistic that doesn't have any actual numbers, it was the first time in my life that I actually had to seek out professional help because the sheer amount of stress that I was feeling, it was 4th university. And I remember I felt like there was no joy in the world. There was no hope. I felt so incompetent as a 4th-year student. Like, it was such a horrible feeling. And I think that a lot of us feel that. Ragad too. I know that, Ragad, you also seeked out campus counselors. And we're not ashamed of that. Like,
no, I wish that I seeked it out earlier because all throughout my 4 years of undergrad, I kept hearing about it. But it wasn't even like out of stigma. I was just lazy. I didn't look into it. So I wish I took it sooner because the 4 years of stress, I wish I can tell you the amount of breakdowns I've had throughout the night where I just sat there crying because of a deadline. I remember one time I went to my prof's office. I started off totally normal. I was like, miss, I didn't get a chance to finish the essay, and immediately my voice broke and the tears started flushing and I just couldn't hold it. It was like waterfalls. And she was like, hey, it's okay. You can just hand it in the next day. It's fine. And she gave me like a napkin and I was just sat there crying. I did this twice throughout my university life. I wish I went to see a counselor sooner.
Just entered the chat.
So yeah, it wasn't until I think it was my first year of my master's. Not even, sorry, it was my second year because somebody told me, you know what, your health insurance is expiring. That was when I thought I was graduating on time. So they're like, your health insurance is expiring, so why don't you just go see a counselor? You've been wanting to, just go do it. And I was like, you know what, let me at least experience it once before I never get the coverage to do it again. So I go to her office and then she's like, why are you here? And you know, they have the voice.
Yes.
I don't know what it was, but it struck a nerve in me and I cried for a good 10 minutes. And she's like, it's okay. And I was like, I don't know why I'm crying. It's so unhealthy. I wish I saw a counselor sooner. I can't stress it enough. If you're a university student, actually it's kind of hard because of COVID now, but I think there's still resources. If you're a university student, you have coverage, use it, please.
Take advantage, please.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
No, absolutely. Oh, it's funny how everybody that I talked to who went to the campus counselors have the exact same story. They're like, I just walked in there. She said good morning. Next thing I know, I'm 4 Kleenexes in and just weeping.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, same here. It's we've all had the same experience. The thing about university or college or whatever, I keep saying university, sorry, it's just because that's where I went. But whatever post-secondary education you're experiencing, it's such it's an uncertain time. It's very vague. Like the future's so vague. Everything is so unclear. So you have all these things that, like, I want to talk about, like, university friends.
Yeah.
What an anomaly.
I feel like I lost half my university friends. Here's the thing. Actually, it's really funny the way that this turned out because when I first started university, I had a bunch of high school friends. Like I said, we'd all go to the library and we'd socialize and it would be great. And then people started to feud and then things started to not be so great. And, you eventually lose people along the way and just different life paths everyone takes, which, there's no grudge or anything against it. So in a way, I got genuine people out of it. And then even friends that I made in university, they are friends that I consider still very dear. Even though we don't talk every day, they really got me through it. The friends that you make in university that share the same struggles and share the same, I want to say breakdowns even, they're there for life. I probably wouldn't have done as well as I would have if it weren't for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when I look back, it was so clear that so many of these so-called, quote unquote, friends were acquaintances. And that's okay.
Yeah.
What I didn't like is that frequently everybody would pretend to be friends for the sake of you giving them your notes or something. Like it was always cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came out of university with hardly any friends in the first place because I only started making friends in like 4th year. And then the ones that I did come out with, it was, some of them have stayed until this day. And then some of them have just sort of became like a distant memory. Some people I had like one class with. And then we talk on Instagram all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the online conversations ended up showing us that we can be friends. So
isn't that so strange?
It's very, very strange.
That people that you meet only once or twice or even through a class
make a comeback,
exactly.
Yeah, it's funny. And now let's do, we don't have much time, and I'm not about to sit here and edit 2 hours worth of content.
Not again. We're
about to do quick round. Let's start. Things, remind you of university, things that you want to talk about very quickly. I'll begin. The exchange students that were decked out at 7:30 in the morning. I want to know, what God do you worship that you come out of your house looking like $1 million that early? When I would wake up 5 minutes before the bus, barely put on pants. Okay? So riddle me this.
Truly.
Rich exchange students, what are you doing? What are you drinking?
What do your parents do for a living? Can you share that?
Would you like to have a relationship, perhaps?
Do you want an intern, perhaps?
Or would you please give me a money, perhaps?
I'll be your friend. I'll be your tour guide. Anything.
Anything, please. Okay, no, you get the next one.
What do I want to talk about? Oh, icebreakers. You know, the first day of class when they're like, introduce yourselves or let's get to know the class. And it's even worse when it's like an intimate class, so it's 10 to 20 people. Why? Why do you put us through that when you know we hate it? Nobody cares to get to know each other. First of all, I'm not going to look at, I don't know, Timothy over here and wow, he played hockey. That gives us so much to bond over. Why do I care?
Damn, yeah, icebreakers are hell for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, rich Arabs. And I'm specifically talking, there's all kinds of rich people, but I have a bone to pick with the rich Arabs. But seriously, rich Arabs showing up in their BMWs. Why, first of all, why are you wearing a suit to school?
Ew, you're going to sweat in that.
Honestly, he's already sweating in that. It's like 9 a.m. and he's already sweating. Second of all, we get it. You're rich. You don't have to worry about anything. Your parents paid for your school. But listen, stop trying to hit me with your car. Why are you fast and furious driving around campus when I'm just trying to get from point A to point B? Calm down. Why are they trying to kill me? First of all, if you're going to kill me, do it and mean it.
Hit me.
Do it. Do it.
Coward.
You know what? If I get hit by one car and we settle out of court, I will settle for $300. Like, I want to work with that.
Wow, you sell yourself short.
Absolutely, I do. Those were crazy times. Anything else? One more.
Yes, one last thing. Oh, how I hated a certain council. Can I say that?
Sure. If you
A
will.
student council at an unknown named university. They literally thought they worked for the White House or something. Okay.
They were dictators.
They were dictators. I'm sorry. The way that they took their business so seriously. Like, don't you have, I don't know, class at 2 p.m.? Oh, I hate them. I don't even know how to describe it.
The power trip.
It was a power trip.
21-year-old, 5'8" individual.
And my favorite thing is, oh, this is a job. I get paid for it. Oh, bravo. Maybe you should talk to your manager because you're not doing shit around here.
You know what's funny? They're supposed to be there to like protect us and bring the conversation to students, represent us. That's why they're called Student Representative Council. But for the life of me, I hardly met any that gave two shits about their fellow students. It was all about them and their Instagram page and their speech.
And what they're doing and all the volunteering that they've done under their term. I don't care.
Yes. Shout out to an individual, you know yourself, who approached me in the library while I was sitting in a cubicle all by myself at like 8 p.m. And decided it'd be a good idea to sing out loud like 5 verses from a traditional Lebanese song.
Ew.
Just in the middle of the library with me pleading for him to stop. Mind you, we were hardly friends. And then next thing I know, he's serenading me in the middle of the damn library.
It's a power trip.
They're on a high, baby.
They think they're untouchable. They could just do whatever they want, like serenade in the library, and people would be okay with that. You think I want your crusty 5'0" ass?
Shout out to our short kings.
Oh, I'm sorry. They didn't do a single thing that was beneficial for me. At least nothing that I can visually see. I feel like they threw a lot of parties. Great. But resource-wise, where? Where? Where are the resources for anything?
Yeah, I have definitely seen the positives of student council. There are, obviously, but they were so overshadowed by the corruption that it was really hard to...
It was a high school game.
It was very childish. Yeah, that was me and Rad's experience. Honestly, overall, I would give it maybe a
6?
5 out of 10.
Oh.
A 6, 6.5.
Yeah, I graduated. That's still up in the air.
You did not graduate, so do not lie to individuals. Yeah, I would say like maybe, 6, 6.5. What about you?
Yes, solid 6. I want to give it that half.
No, I'm not giving it that half?
Nope, that council ruined it for me.
Yeah, they took away that half.
Yeah, truly.
To sort of end this conversation, there is something that's vital. When we're talking about post-secondary education, we have to discuss briefly the fact that we see universities as of late becoming a bit obsolete.
Ooh, careful. You're being controversial.
Am I? I thought this was common knowledge. Going into thousands and thousands of dollars in debt for a degree that won't get you a job is a foolish feat when you can take the money, took out loans and started their own business and became far more successful than many people that I've known who have gone the traditional path. Again, academics are crucial to human history. and development. But we have to be honest and say that now people want you to be, you know, a software programmer, or they want people with real experience creating websites or whatever, or they want people with, I don't know, hands-on. It seems like academics is kind of becoming, like I said, unfortunately obsolete. And people you still want teachers, we still want all these things, but I've known people who have just dropped out the first year and became like influencers, and they, you know, make thousands and thousands of dollars. So it goes both ways. I'm just putting that idea out there that it's not as necessary as our parents, especially a lot of the foreign parents, how important it is for us to get a post-secondary education. They really stress it. I don't think it's as important as it used to be. Do you agree? Disagree? What do you think?
I disagree. And this might also be a little bit controversial. I don't know. But I have a couple points. I think at the end of the day, seeking knowledge, doesn't matter how you do it, is something everyone should strive for. Being ignorant is not cute.
Yeah.
Second of all, university, it doesn't just teach you to get a degree or just learn. Because first of all, a lot of the courses that we take, I don't remember. What it does teach you though is discipline, time management, how to plan.
Yes, you're right.
You learn a lot of different skills throughout your time at university. You know, even just conflict management when things don't go your way with a certain prof, or, you know, how to, you know, direct other opportunities when certain, I don't know, internships or projects fall through. So I think that university is still very valuable in learning certain things that you might not get outside of it. However, university isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
College isn't for everyone. And I think it's really annoying that they took grade 13 away, because expecting a high schooler like at 18 to make a decision that they have to live with for the rest of their lives on something that they might like not even be that passionate about, or they just don't know about. They know they have to go to university because, you know, it's deemed successful, and they go into like a wrong program. Either they end up switching out of it and they waste money, or they live with it and they resent their lives. I wish there was like a solid year where parents didn't have to pressure their kids, where you can actually take time to take classes that you enjoy and maybe figure out your passion then, and then apply later on to post-secondary. And to be honest, with the whole new wave of social media and social influencers, I do believe that people make their own opportunities. However, I still feel like having a degree under your belt, because with social media, it's very fleeting. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs. It's really based off of people's opinions and what people value, and that's ever changing. That goes along with society. So at least with a degree, that's something stable, you know? You can use that degree as a stepping stone, not necessarily as an endpoint. So that's just kind of where I'll leave it off.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the beauty, something that I think we forget a lot, is that university or college or post-secondary does not have to be something that you take right after high school. You can take it at any point of your life.
Yep.
And that's something that I think we should encourage more often, is to pursue education at your pace.
Yep.
At your capabilities, financial or otherwise, and start living your student life based on what you need and what you want, rather than what the system or what your parents even want.
Yep.
So that's,
you know, it's your life that you're gonna have to live with.
Your decisions, definitely you have to live with them. I think that's a really wonderful place to actually end the conversation. This has been really insightful and actually really fun.
Yeah, considering I was like about to scrap up the whole episode halfway through. I was like, this is it.
Disrespect me when I brought it up. You're like, I don't know if people are going to relate to that. I'm like, everybody goes to
You wanted to talk about, what was it?
What?
I don't have it on me right now.
You know what? She doesn't have it on her because I wrote notes that were exactly what we need to write about. And then she didn't check them out. And then she called me and then she was like, you know what we should talk about? And then she went on to a list of things that I wrote in our notes.
I think this is enough talking. Okay, don't you have like a whole hour to edit?
Yeah, I have a lot of editing to do. It's my turn this week. So I'm sorry, guys. So, as usual, this has been the Expired Musing Gals. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram. We even have a TikTok now. It's also Expired Musings. And we'd love to have your input anywhere you would like to send us DMs or comment, whatever it is. Please listen to our previous 3 episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other sources. Thank you so much. We love you.
Love you.
See you later.
Goodbye.